please.
Thank you for the prayers, President. Okay, it being 5 p.m., the Lafourche Parish Council meeting of June 24, 2025 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carleen, can you please conduct roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Brumfield. Present. Mr. Adams. Present. Mr. Pert. Here. Mr. Melvin. Here. Mr. Pierce. Here. Mr. Arabi. Here. Chairman Oten.
Here.
Mrs. Chasson. Here. Mr. Lorraine. Here. And President Chasson.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carleen. If everyone would please rise, we'll be led in invocation by Councilman Brumfield, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilwoman Chasson.
Heavenly Father, God Jehovah, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for this opportunity to bask in your presence. We thank you for your divine presence that leads us and guides us and directs us and grants us wisdom. We thank you for your Son Jesus that made it all possible on the cross of Calvary. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'd like to start off by welcoming everyone to tonight's meeting. First order of business, we respectfully request that you either put your phones on silent or turn them off out of respect for others here in the chambers. Additionally, I'd like to remind anyone wishing to address the council to please fill out a blue form up at the entrance that you came in. Get up to the council clerk. We'll be sure to recognize you during public wishing to address the council. Additionally, when we go through ordinances, we will ask for public input. If you'd like to speak on an ordinance, I'll call for it 3 times. You're welcome to come up and speak on any of the ordinances at that time prior to deliberations by the council and then ultimate vote. And then lastly, when we get to resolutions on those, we will just do discussion amongst the council before it goes to vote. So if you wish to just talk about a resolution, please do so during public wishing to address the council. With that said, we'll jump right into tonight's meeting. Item A, state and/or federal legislative updates. I don't see any state and/or federal legislators in the audience. Brings us to item B. We have none, Ms. Corleen. Item C, presentations and/or updates. We have none, which brings us to item D. And we do have one. I see engineers and architect reports. I don't know. I beg to differ. I think
President,
It was on.
One more time. All right. Hello. All right. Joe Piciola, Piciola and Associates, 115 Piciola Parkway and Cutoff. On our projects, first of all, we have the Airport Connector Road and Bridge. Turn it on. On the side. There you go. All right, this project's been ongoing. Not a lot of work going on at the bridge itself right now. We're still working on machinery. Right now, the current schedule to have the machinery completed and delivered to the site is July 28th. I'm thinking it's going to be a couple of weeks after that, but we'll see. Hopefully, we can make that date. And that's pushing the date of the final completion of the bridge until December of this year. Hopefully it doesn't go into next year, but you know, after we get the machinery, then it opens up all kind of extra work. They've pretty much done everything they can do without the machinery in place. The next project we have is Ida storm damage repairs at the pump stations. Rita pump station project is 2 new 24-inch pumps with diesel engines, 1 with electric engines. We've completed the plans. We have all the permitting done. We're currently scheduling a project bid date with administration. I think we were waiting on some other projects to clear out and bid before we bid this project. As soon as administrators give us the green light, we'll advertise for bids. The next project is Sugar Ridge Pump Station. This is 2 new 30-inch pumps with diesel engines. Lowland Construction is the contractor. They've been making really good progress on this project. All of the sump area is complete. They're going to pour the concrete slab, the bottom slab on the concrete for the bottom sump in the next 2 weeks. All of the pumps and the discharge pipe and the engines are all at the contractor's shop waiting to be installed. The next project is the La Rose boat launch. We have all the permits. We've completed all the preliminary surveying. We've been working with the administration to work out a budget for the project. I got that information from Mitch, and so we're working on the design. In the next couple of weeks, we should be complete with the design and ready to go out for bid. This is a Wallabro funded project with some parish money. The next project we have is the Road Sales Tax District Priority Road Improvements. So we gave a preliminary list with DPW. They're reviewing it to determine a budget for doing a road project this year. As soon as we get that, we'll go for surveying and do the engineering. The Côte Blanche Bridge rehabilitation, we did some preliminary repairs because of the boat damage. That was completed. We're complete now with the project plans. Dylan has reviewed it. Where everybody's satisfied, we're just going to be getting a bid date from them and going out for bids. And the next project we have is shock levy mitigation. The mitigation part of the plans are complete. We were completed the roadway plans. We had to go back and look at some drainage issues because of the steepness of the road, because we're raising it, but we've got that pretty much ironed out, and we'll be ready to go out for bid soon on this project. And the last project I have is West Side Drainage Project. I don't have a slide for this, but it's 3 areas. This is part of statewide flood control. It's having to do with putting culverts on the 3235 and La Rose Cutoff and Galliano. The primary areas we're going to be working on are West 11th through the 13th Street, going under LA 3235, West 54th Street, and then also West 133rd, 34th Street in that area to fix some drainage problems. We've done a lot of surveying, topographic surveying, and we're working with Olson on doing hydraulic modeling right now. Hydraulic modeling should be complete in the middle part of July, and then we'll go to design and in bids. Any questions?
Very good. Ms. Chasson, you have the floor first, ma'am.
For the West Side Drainage Project, that West 54th is going to include Providence too, going to Providence?
Yes. I mean, it's all, it's all in that general area from Providence all the way down to where the Crosby houses are.
Okay, so behind Cutoff Elementary and all of
Yes,
that
ma'am.
area. That has to get lowered as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions for Joe? Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
We have any other engineer and or architects? All right, brings us to item E, public wishing to address the council. Public hearings, agenda items, et cetera. Ms. Carleen.
Mr. Stephen Leinengeiger, if you'd come to the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
My name is Steve Leininger. I live at 304 Twin Oaks Drive in Raceland, 70394. The reason I'm coming today is I want to talk about the trash pickup service, or maybe it would be more accurate to say the lack of trash pickup service. Since we, the people of Lafourche, had to pay out of our pockets for the trash, I've been averaging about between every 6 to 8 weeks, my trash is missed. And so I did some calculations, and I figured that based on what I'm paying per year, my loss is $14.11, which doesn't sound like a lot of money. But let's put it in context here. Let's say I want to buy a soda. So I drive into McDonald's, I go up to the speaker, I place my order. Then I drive around to window 1 and I pay the money. Then as I'm driving up to window 2, they put a close sign on the window and they lock all the doors. That's how, I think if you put yourself in that position, you get an idea of how, I'd say, let's just say people are beyond aggravated. And that affects everybody in the council. Just last week was the latest time that it happened. And I drove around a couple blocks just to see, and there were 4 other houses that did not have their trash picked up. And the trash people already left the Sugar Land. So I did some calculations, and based on my experience, so I can't say that that's going to apply to the whole parish, but according to the 2020 census, Lafourche Parish has 36,828 households. If I take that $14.11 and multiply it by that, the amount is a little over $500,000 per year that's being taken out of our pockets and put into the coffers of the trash company. So the thought that comes to my mind is that, now, I'm not blaming the parish council. They did a contract. But nevertheless, they're the people, they're what the constituency sees, the parish council. And it's the parish council that did the contract, and so they need to fix it. That's what it comes down to. However that happens, they need to fix it, because whatever's being done up to this point has not worked. I have seen no improvement on that at all. So that's all I have to say.
All right, if you hold on one second, the parish president looks like he has something to say. So, Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Steve, how long have you lived on Twin Oaks?
18 years.
I want to do some context for you. So in that 18 years, have you ever recorded how many times your trash has been skipped? Just off the top of your head? Just give me a number.
Well, it'd be 7 times, it's 7.43 times per year.
Okay.
So that for 2 years.
Okay. So, and the only reason I ask is because, you know, and Mr. Lorraine and I have this argument quite often, right? You just didn't start paying for trash pickup last year, right? It was a sales tax before that.
Right.
And so, you know, we didn't, you know, when in your McDonald's example, right? When you went back to McDonald's the next time, you didn't ask them for a refund from the time before they put the close sign up, right? Mm-hmm. And I use that as context to say that, yeah, we know there's some issues, right? And I understand that it's a little bit more prevalent now because people actually see that $16.50 charge on your water bill. You didn't see it every time you went to McDonald's or the store or you bought something. We did have a lot of conversations. Dylan, Sam, and I all talked to Mr. Bordelon with River Birch last week, trying to figure out what the larger issue is. Because it was, at some points, it's bulky waste. And we get behind on bulky pickup because people are trimming trees and those springtime activities. And it seems like in the summertime we hit these slugs where we start missing residential units. And in some cases, I think Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of last week, we got a spreadsheet every day of that week with like at least 20 or 30 streets that were skipped, right? They skipped my garbage last week, full disclosure, right? Not if you're gonna skip anybody's house, I'm probably not the guy you wanna skip, right? But they did, they missed the whole neighborhood. The reasoning, I don't wanna use the word excuse, but the reasoning we got last week was, and historically the last couple of months has been truck breakdowns. So what happens is the truck runs their route during the day, they get back to the shop in Bayou Blue at night. There's a mechanic crew that runs at night to fix all the issues with the truck, and then they crank back up the next day. From what Gus has told us, the mechanics that they had there, they've had some issues retaining those good mechanics. So they have kind of a fledgling crew there at night. So what they've actually asked us to do is remove the truck operations from the Bayou Blue facility and move the trucks to Jefferson. They have a much stronger mechanic crew there. So what'll happen is, let's say the crew gets to Bayou Blue in the morning, the truck's not working, right? They either have to start the mechanic process and get a mechanic to work on that truck, or they have to wait for a truck to finish a route from another parish, Jefferson, St. Charles, wherever else they're working, and then get that truck to here. And in some cases, it's too late. They can't finish that entire route that particular day. I think Councilman Melvin sent us an email last week asking about fines, right? Because there is some stipulations in the contracts about fines. The way the contract is structured is they have 24 hours. So if they miss Councilman Melvin's garbage today, they have 24 hours to pick that up before we can fine them. And in most cases, they meet that mark. Within 24 hours, the garbage is gone. It's not great for you when your garbage has to sit there another day. I get it, it's frustrating, but we do have that stipulation in the contract that they have 24 hours to get it. So we're gonna work with Gus and begin to transition those trucks over to Jefferson. Hopefully that relieves some of the issues. Gus was admittedly saying that he's never received this amount of trash complaints in the 6 years that we've had this contract with him. So there's something not clicking, whether it's leadership in the Bayou Blue office, if it's somebody from within the organization, but we're hell bent on trying to fix it.
May I respond?
Yeah, I guess I'm good with it, yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead and respond, and I'll let Councilman Melvin next. But if you want to state, absolutely, go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, your problem is perception. When it was sales taxes, it was just something I did in the grocery store, and I didn't even look at the receipt. Now it comes out of here, so that leaves an impact. And in the store, I believe the sales tax is the same now as it was, before we started paying for it. So it didn't do us any good as far as our pocketbook goes. And the other one is, I have yet to have them come back the next day and pick up my trash that they missed the day before. So maybe the council people are getting a little preferential treatment here, but
And I think I was going to make that comment because I was missed last week too, but then they came the next day. It sounds like his specific residence being missed. Anyway, Councilman Melvin is next up, so you have the floor, sir.
Yes, first I'd like to say thank you for coming. Second, I'd like to apologize, even though it's not directly council, indirectly, we do have a contract. So if you might not ever hear an apology from the garbage people, but I'm telling you, I'm sorry right now. And thank you for coming. And again, they missed me last week, and I'm starting to keep tabs on when they're missing. I am interested in fines, depending on what's happening, because when I spoke to Solid Waste, I was told that before the manager would at least contact Mr. Sam and say, hey, we're going to miss, here's why. Whereas the last few times, I'm told that we've emailed the company and we haven't heard, and that is a problem.
Right.
So I really appreciate you coming. Again, I apologize.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Araby, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, sir. I want to thank you for coming also. I represent your area, and I have gotten several calls from that area in the last few months that I never used to get before. And again, I don't mind taking calls, but we do have some serious issues. And like the parish president said, they are working on the issues that we're having. But the problem, you're saying they don't go back and pick up the trash. There's a difference between trash and garbage. If it's a garbage can, it's supposed to be twice a week. Trash in the contract is every other week. Every street is supposed to pass at least every other week. That is not happening. They're telling us we got to call in our trash pile. I don't see in the contract where it says that. But anyway, again, hopefully we can get that part straightened out and the trash collection can get better. Again, like I said, the garbage, every now and then I can understand they have a little breakdown with a truck. That happens. I can understand the same thing with the trash. Mechanical issues, employees, they're hard to find. But still in all, we have a contract. And again, thank you for coming out here, and anytime you want to come and express yourself, you're more than welcome to come here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I think that's it. Ms. Carlene?
Mr. Ray Sheramy, if you come to the podium, Mr. Sheramy, state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Good evening. My name is Ray Sheramy. I live at 118 Surville Lane, Larose, Louisiana, 70373. I'd like to tell you all that before I left to come to this meeting, I was kind of discouraged about coming. I was discouraged because the people that talked to me about this issue and the people I talked to about didn't show up tonight. Everyone had the reason that I was wasting my time, that the council would not hear anything I told them because they had their mind set before anybody ever showed up. The next thing was I was disgusted. Disgusted that I tried to get pictures set up on the wall so that the audience could see, maybe the TV camera could catch it. And the council chairman, my councilman, told me that he would not allow me to put the pictures up. And I asked him why. He says, because I'm tired of having people, what's the word you use?
I said you can make copies and hand it to all the individual council members.
Tired of people showcasing when they come to the meetings. And I asked you, well, who came up with that? You said you did. And I said, by yourself? Yep. And I have the district attorney's authority to do it. And then you closely told me, and this discussion is final. My third thing was that embarrassment. Embarrassment that what I'm going to show you all It's embarrassing to think that Lafourche Parish owns that pump station. And then I thought to myself, you know, Ray, you're not a quitter. Let's go. So I have pictures of the pump station that I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to hand these out to each councilman and the parish president.
As I requested that he do, just so y'all know. That's what I requested. Yep. So, Mr. Ray, if you want to start talking, because that 3 minutes is gone.
I know. But anyway, as you take your pictures out, I'm going to explain to you all kind of what it is. It's kind of self-explanatory, though. If you look at the picture number 1, that's when you drive up to the pump station from LA1, and that pump station is located in District 7, my councilman's district, and it pumps everything from Valentine to the Intracoastal Canal in La Rose. All of the subdivisions in La Rose drain back to the reservoir, and 90% of the water rushes to this pump station. That's the front of the pump station. The next picture is the pump station from behind. As you can see, between the two pipes, the discharge pipes, the building is pushing out. The next picture is from the side, and you can see even more so the building pushing out like it's going to collapse into the building. This is a picture when you walk into the pump station. You see the beams hanging on the backside? That's ready to fall on somebody.
Somebody relinquish 3 minutes. Mr. Melvin relinquishes 3 minutes. He can keep talking, Ray.
Then they have a picture of the inside of the building. You see a beam hanging, and if you look good, you can see some of the tin still hanging. I wouldn't be here if this would have happened 4 months ago. This happened for Hurricane Ida. 5 days from now, it's going to be 3 years and 9 months that this happened. And why in the hell hasn't the parish done anything to fix this? I call and I ask about the pump station. They tell me, oh, it's on the drawing board. We're getting money from FEMA. FEMA? 3 years and 9 months waiting on FEMA? Doesn't the parish have money to do something with this pump station? And by the way, the discharge pipes were leaking so bad that the council people had to come there and put some straps. Not change the pipes, just put straps to keep the water from slushing out so they could pump more water. Now let me tell y'all, I'm 80 years old, I'm never sued, and I've never been sued. But I watch TV a little bit, and all I got is probably 90% lawyers enticing people to sue and getting big bucks. And you know what's the best suit that a lawyer could find? Neglect. This is neglect. This is almost 4 years of neglect from this parish. Give me an answer. What's going on? What's going to happen? We don't have the money? Somebody say something.
Okay, you finished, Mr. Ray? So first one, Mr. Boo, you have the mic, sir.
Does the pump station work?
If it works?
Yeah, does it pump water?
Yeah,
okay.
it works.
Yeah, all right, just checking.
All right,
It might
thank
be
you, Mr.
ugly, but
Adams.
it works, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is it
works,
pumping the
but
water? Are you
I'm
flooding?
concerned about the pumper, the mechanic, anybody going in there to change the oil, and especially if it's during a storm.
I understand.
That's a big liability.
I understand, but we have pump
for the
stations
parish
still
to
not
have
working.
taken the rest of this building down.
I totally understand, but we have stuff that's still not working. But yours is working. I
Yeah,
know
what?
it's ugly, but it's working.
If what?
It's working, right? It pumps water?
If it pumps
Yeah.
water? Yeah, it pumps
Okay.
water.
Yeah, that was my question, because there's other stuff that's not working.
Well, but I don't know how much it pumps because the pipes go all the way, probably 100 feet back, and the tall weeds, you can't even go to the end of the pump pipes. So I don't know if it's pumping half a pipe, or a quarter of a pipe, or a full pipe.
Okay, does anyone from the administration want to address this? Any comments?
Not after he just threatened to sue us. No,
Okay, all right. So because of the suit talk, Mr. Ray, the district attorney has told us we can't engage once, just because you mentioned that is what the parish president is referencing.
You'll have on the agenda to pay contractors to demolish buildings, houses, whatever,
Yes, sir.
$74,000 and something dollars. And hey,
Ms. Shessel gives 3
I
minutes.
would think that there's probably people that have had damage from the storm, same one, Ida, and they can't afford to have the buildings tore down. Hey, that's fine. But you're going to take care of everybody else and not take care of your own? This building belongs to the parish. It's in your district. And it's in part of your district because it pumps everything from Abar Boulevard to the intercoastal. That water gushes to the back. That area is kind of high, and when you get a little bit past my house, it just goes down to nothing. So the water goes to that pump station, and it's not capable of pumping the way it should be, especially with that building the way it is. Now, can somebody tell me what y'all going to do about it?
Yeah, it's the administration. He said they're not going to engage on that tonight, so you're not going to get an answer tonight, Mr. Ray.
You can't answer that?
The administration has said they're not going to answer that tonight.
If I answer the question?
What y'all going to do about it? What you going to do about it?
Yeah, he said he doesn't have an answer. Well, Mr. President,
He don't have an answer.
You have the floor, sir. He just
He's
pressed
the
his mic.
parish president. He don't have an answer?
He's got it.
I got an answer, Mr. Ray. The problem is when you stand behind the podium and you threaten to sue somebody, the answers aren't always gonna come freely. I will say that you are absolutely right, Mr. Ray. It's a crying shame that almost 4 years later we still got stuff that looks like that from the hurricane, right? But so does the school board, so does private industry, so does the hospital, so does everybody. You know from sitting right behind, well, not in this particular building, but sitting right behind a previous parish president, what it takes to do projects with FEMA after a hurricane, right? You lived through that yourself. We have probably about $30 million worth of drainage infrastructure damage from Hurricane Ida. There were 40-something pump stations that were impacted. 14 of them were considered total losses, according to our engineers. We got word yesterday that we should get a record of decision in the next week or two from FEMA. The real big issue with FEMA is they're so used to the Corps of Engineers coming in and saying, hey, this is our baby, right? We're going to come fix it. Just like what they did around Orleans and Jefferson and St. Bernard and Plaquemine after Katrina and those storms. They're not used to parish-run forced drainage system infrastructure. They're not used to it. We've had minor damage from previous storms that we were able to recap with some CDBG money and some other funding stream, but FEMA has holistically never through the project worksheet PA process funded a complete rehab of a parish drainage infrastructure. So you're right, it's horrible, it looks bad, but it's to Councilman Adams' point is it still moves water. I get you, we can argue all day about safety to our employees, and I can promise you, I would not put someone in a situation that I would not go in myself. Right, and I think I've proven that to our guys over and over and over again. Do we need to make it look pretty at some point? Absolutely. Hopefully it'll happen soon. But Councilman Arabi and I had this conversation the whole way a minute ago about a different project. I'm not going to begin to expend parish money to go start to fix these pump stations without any knowledge or hope that FEMA is going to pay us back. I'm not going to bankrupt us to go do that. If the pump station is still pumping water and it's functional, then we'll keep riding that horse as long as we can ride it. In some cases, like in Councilman Adams' district where the pump station is completely gone, like Zeller, then yeah, we put portable pumping capacity and we're working through that process with those constituents who are frustrated because they have less pumping capacity than they did when Hurricane Ida hit because it's portable pump power and not a permanent pump station. So we're working on it, right? It's not something that we neglect every day. It's not something that I think is pretty and beautiful and I'm never going to touch again, but I'm not going to put the parish in a situation where we're going to go bankrupt trying to fix these stations if I don't have a game plan on how to pay that money back.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Does anyone else have anything else? Any follow-ups, Mr. Ray?
I just think it's a sad situation that I can't get a better answer than that. Very sad. And Noon, I'd like to ask you, have you been to that pump station since Hurricane Ida?
I have, and I will also tell you that we did, so you and I, so first of all, I got to relinquish the gavel to engage you, Mr. Ray. So you got it? Just press your button. Because I hold a gavel, I'm not supposed to engage back and forth, and I usually don't. Anyway, but I will tell you that Eunice Alamo was one that you called me about a year ago, and I'm thankful because the parish did go do a temporary fix there. I don't know if it was $14,000, $15,000, and then this council approved almost $1.6 million to rebuild that pump station. As you know, it's not a whole lot of residents, but it's being done. The problem they ran into was the bridge, and it just kind of escalates. The bridge ends up, DOTD comes in, they reduce it down to 3 tons. Now we can't get fire trucks across it, and we can't go work on the pump station. So it delayed the project. So to redo the bridge, just so y'all know, Entergy has overhead power lines. They couldn't bring the power driver to drive the power lines for the bridge. So Entergy had to move their power lines. That took 100 and something days. So anyway, I get the frustration at times, and things take a while, but we're all moving on some. Eunice Alamo, for what is being done there, we're spending a lot of money there. We, the state, everybody who's contributing. So I am glad that we've done something with that one. So yeah, I pay attention to pump stations and the ones that need temporary fixes. I mean, when it's structural integrity like that one, they did go do $14,000 or $15,000, whatever it was. So they did. And look at that, you had engagement, and I never heard back from you on that. So I'm guessing it was good enough, for you not to come back and argue on that one, right? So anyway, I'm paying attention as much as I can, but I probably have the most pump stations out of everybody in my district. I mean, I have a lot of pump stations, and they're all very important on both sides, the East Bank and the West Bank.
Well, let me just say again, if somebody gets hurt or killed in that pump station, one of y'all employees, I guarantee you, somebody's gonna get sued real bad. Y'all all know about it. You'll see the pictures about it. And if something's not done and somebody gets hurt, a lawyer's gonna have a ball with suing the parish, maybe all of y'all.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
it's-
we'll move on.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ray. Appreciate it.
Ms. Diane Benoit, if you'd come to the podium, Ms. Benoit, please state your name and address for the record. And remember, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Diane Benoit.
There you go.
And I live at 2116 Midland Drive in Thibodaux, Louisiana. And I'm here today, but I understand that y'all did something wonderful last week. I mean, it was the last week.
The last meeting.
With the traffic light at Richfield Road and Talbot Avenue. That's what I was coming here to talk about, but y'all, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. But I did have statistics. I talked to the Marshal Small, and since the beginning of the year, there have been 9 accidents, traffic accidents at that location with 1 fatality. And then I went to the parish, and they had 4 crashes with 3 injuries from the beginning of the year. So that's what's my statistics. But I do want to tell y'all, thank you for the traffic lights, because I really think it needs it, because I was tired of seeing people all over the road, their cars all over the road, because I travel that road quite often. So thank y'all very much.
Councilman Perk would like to talk to you. Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir.
Just for clarification.
Yes, sir.
Councilman, I'm gonna let you go, because Councilman Bloomfield, I passed a resolution for DOT.
All right. So I think you pressed your mic and it turned off, so.
Yeah, he's
Mr.
trying to
Brumfield.
clarify that to you that we did submit a resolution to DOTD, so we're still waiting on
Okay.
a
At least you're
solution.
trying.
Yes, but I do appreciate you coming, and I do know that you're concerned, and I know that you know how concerned I am about what's going on at the intersection of Ridgefield and Talbot. Although the council, to my understanding, I'm not sure if they're leaning toward that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you coming, and I hope that this has influenced the council in a positive way.
Yes.
To do something, because we've always, it has just been a big, huge concern as I sit in this seat. If I don't accomplish nothing, I hope that that is done
Yeah.
for
Well,
the district.
my friend that is here right now, Joanne LaBeouf, 34 years ago now, this has been going on for a mighty long time.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her husband in a crash at that intersection.
And I lost my uncle, yes.
So it's for me
Yes,
when I
yeah.
pass there.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Dunn. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Benoit.
Thank
you for coming.
All right.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just in the interim, so Ms. Benoit knows as well, we are receiving some money from DOTD to do a lot of striping and safety striping across the parish. And this is one of the intersections they focus on. So while we're working with DOTD and trying to figure out the traffic study for the light, we are going to get some increased signage, some rumble strips that are actually cut into the pavement, not like the ones we tried to paint on, right? That'll last a little bit longer. And then we're working with the state to try to move the right-of-way line, I say the right-of-way line, but the sight line back, to try to pull some of that cane back. So when you approach the intersection, you have a little bit more clearance clearance there. You tell me that's not going to work, though. But so.
There was no cake.
Oh.
There was nothing.
Yeah. So we'll try to make a little bit more permanent repair there while we're waiting on the light.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Brumfield has a follow-up. Mr. Brumfield.
I was just going to say that the stripping was like putting fruit roll-ups on the road.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Brumfield. All right, and that's it, Ms. Corleen? Okay, that brings us to item F, approval of minutes. Item 1, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the June 3rd, 2025 special session. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 2, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the June 10th, 2025 regular session. So moved by Mr. Perk, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Brings us to item G, public hearing and ordinances for ratification. I'll now entertain a motion to open public hearing. So moved by Mr. Perk, second by Mr. Adams. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 3, ordinance amending ordinance number 2866, reducing the speed limit from 25 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour on Hummingbird Drive, Bayou Blue, Louisiana, Ward 11, District 5, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, requiring the placement of speed limit signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Mr. Pierce, this was sponsored by Mr. Pierce. It was deferred from the 4/8/25 LPC meeting. There was no public hearing held. I'm sorry, I'm being told you want to pull this?
Yeah, we need to pull that. We going to go to a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. We already passed that at the last meeting or the meeting before.
Okay, so this
So we're
ordinance
going to eliminate this altogether.
Okay, got it. So this ordinance is completely pulled from the agenda?
Yeah, completely pull it.
Thank you. I was trying to figure out what y'all was saying. Gotcha. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Pierce. Brings us to item 4, ordinance approving an agreement to purchase and sell property between Jerry Leday and Karina Petrie Leday and Lafourche Parish government for the property located at 18594 Highway 3235, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, Track 1 through Track 4, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. This was moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration. It was deferred from the 4/22/25, the 5/13/25, and the 5/27/25 Lafourche Parish Council meetings. No public hearing held. Can I get a second on that ordinance? Seconded by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 4? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 4. Last and final call. Anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 4? Anyone from the council? Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah. I'd just like to voice some concerns because I'm trying to do some research on this, and I know we're all talking about money and fixing things, and we were just talking about repairs and fixing things, and I know that we've gone over this before. I dug a little deeper as far as doing some research and talking to some real estate folks, commercial real estate guys and gals, and I understand that when you go to a bank and you need to get $1 million loan, sometimes it takes 35 pages worth of paperwork. They want rental studies, they want traffic studies, they want every kind of study to see, hey, what are we getting if we're going to loan you this $1 million? And I know that it's not easy to get $1 million, especially depending on what your situation is. But I understand that I just don't think it's government's purview to get into the private rental business. Also, I know that the parish president used the term alternative energy. I just know that I saw Senator Blake Miguez recently had quote, green energy is only alive and well due to tax subsidies and cannot stand alone, unlike petrochemical industry. I think it's attributed to Senator Miguez. So unlike oil, I don't think certain types of alternative energy can stand alone, and it's all subsidies. The subsidies go, so's the projects. If there is someone who wants to move in there, why haven't they leased it from the owner now? What's the problem with that? Also, I know that, again, we need work on buildings, bridges, roads, pump stations. And I can't in good conscience, because long after I'm out of this chair, we might still owe this money, unless it's a perfect world scenario I'm unaware of, but I just can't do that to the taxpayers of Lafourche, and that's why I'm not supporting this.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, as I've had lengthy conversations with the parish president about this, because it's a lot of money, right? And but as with all decisions, I would assume we all make on this council, I don't take this one lightly either. But after reviewing everything we've talked about, my opinion is I think this is our best opportunity and investment to try to revitalize the economic development in South Lafourche. You know, we could try to do a little $1 million project here, a $2 million project, you know, try to develop with no proven record. As this does not have a proven record, it appears that we've got some direction. And I've also expressed to the parish president, you know, at 64 years old, I'm a little more conservative, right? And I'd sit here and say we're going to spend this type of money would be, I'm a little more hesitant, right? But I can tell you at 44 years old, I would have jumped all over this, as well as 54. So I've expressed to the parish president, I would just ask that him and his administration just do their, if we pass this, they do their due diligence to truly make this work for everybody in the parish and especially South Lafourche. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Perk. Mr. Araby, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, and I'm going to state again, I'm very much in support of economic development. But from the email I got from the parish president on some of the things that he wants to bring down there, Sheriff Department, a parish barn, transfer station, not for sure how that plays a big part in our economic development. Now, as far as for any other big company he wants to bring down, I don't know which one it is. I have an idea. Of course, I didn't go sit down and talk to him about it. I'll be the first one to admit it, because I'm not a big supporter of spending $9 million on that particular place. But I just can't see how we're going to develop economic development, what we plan to bring down there now. I guarantee you, if we bring the transfer station down there, which is a great idea, but when that word's going to get out, people are not going to look at it as a transfer station. They're going to say it's a garbage dump. And that's how they always relate to it. That's probably going to throw a red flag in somebody coming down there to build or get into there. Again, I don't know of any contracts we got signed with anybody just yet for that place. So we're going to just take a chance. Right, Bart? We're going to take a chance on $9 million of taxpayers' money and don't know if we're going to have a company there or not. So again, y'all vote the way y'all want to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Araby. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
I was going to go last, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if there's anybody else, but so a couple of things. Councilman Melvin, to your point, there's nobody that has leased that facility before because they were not interested in leasing a facility. Bristol wanted to sell those assets. They want to get out of that space. They moved a lot of their operations to Houma with the merger that they had, so they were not interested in it. The other complicating factor is that, you know, while you have the buildings on top, you still have a lease with the landowner to worry about, right? So items 4 and 5 really go together. And as I mentioned to the chairman this afternoon, the reason we did this is because I didn't want to come to you guys and start to talk about buying $5 million worth of buildings without owning the property underneath it and having a constant expenditure for God knows how long for the property underneath it. So it was going to be an all or nothing deal, and luckily the landowners are willing to part with the sub part of the property, and the building facility owners are willing to part with the top of it. Councilman Araby, I get it, right? A transfer station is not going to be a huge economic development portion, right? That's more ease of use for the constituents in South Lafourche to have their bulky waste picked up a little bit quicker. It's not going to be we call it a transfer station, right? But it's going to be the roll-off bins from the bulky trucks, right? It's not going to have trash flying everywhere. But I get that point. But as I mentioned to the chairman this afternoon, the manufacturer that we've been talking to about coming down to this place is talking about bringing 1,000 people a day into South Lafourche. It's 4 shifts at 250 people per shift, starting in 2027, right? That's a huge aspect for people who are buying food, who run restaurants, who own gas stations, who own ancillary services in South Lafourche. Huge gamble. I get it, right? I've asked you guys to do this a couple times. The last time was after the hurricane, when I asked you to go borrow $120 million without any clue that we were going to get any of it back, right? But we had to fix the place. I will tell you that no matter, what pump station we have to fix, what road we have to pave, none of that gets affected by this, right? Because I can't touch that money. I can't take Road Sales Tax District 2 money to go buy this place. I can't take the new in lieu millage, the consolidated tax to go buy this place. It's got to come from a variety of places, buildings and maintenance, the general fund, royalty, the places that are unrestricted. So it's not going to stop those other projects. It's not going to stop the recreation projects. It's not going to stop us from paying those bonds back. Christy and our grants department, we've been working with EDA over the last couple of weeks to try to figure out if there's some federal money we can use to actually buy this place. To where we're not even out of pocket the $5 million for the buildings. We're not going to know that for a couple of months, but we have a couple of months to get to that point, right? You guys vote to purchase this tonight, which I hope you do, because I think it's going to be huge for the South Lafourche community. We still have 200 and some odd days before we even have to think about making a payment, right? There's an inspection period. There's notices that have to go out. Councilman Araby dropped a lease off from somebody else who purportedly has a lease on this property that we have to figure out, that would come up in the title search part of this process anyway, that we're going to have to talk to the DA's office about in the next couple of days. So there's a whole lot of things that even if we approve it tonight, that we could still walk away from. There's nothing that says if we find something in the next 120 days that we don't like, we get to throw our hands up and walk away from the deal. But as I noted the last time we talked about this, I equate it to the airport back in the 2000s, where the parish had the opportunity where we could have done something great with that facility and we could be reaping the benefits of it, and we didn't. Nobody really had a vision. Nobody had a thought, and to Councilman Perk's point, you look at things a little bit different at 64. I look at things a little bit different at 39, right? I guess I'm willing, right, DJ? I guess I'm willing to take a little bit more of a gamble, knowing that I'm going to be paying taxes for, a lot longer than some people. So, look, I think it's scary, right? It's $9 million over the next 5 years. Crazy thought, right? We historically have not been in the business of leasing property and making money back. We're really in the business of leasing property and paying people, right? We do that all day long for boat launches and recreational facilities and stuff like that. I think we're gonna lose out on something big, and then at some point somebody else is gonna have the gumption to come in here and buy this place, knowing that we've done all the legwork, and they're going to sneak in after us if we say no, and we're going to left looking like a bunch of fools. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen for the well-being and the economic development of South Lafourche. I don't want that to happen for what could be a $2.5 million gain to our bottom line every year once we pay this place back over the next couple of years. And again, that's $2.5 million of unrestricted money that can go into recreation, can go into roads, bridges, pumps, the animal shelter. Hell, we can make a gold-plated statue of Reggie and put it in the front parking lot with that money, right? We could do whatever we want with it because it'll be unrestricted general fund money. So look, guys, again, I know it's a huge gamble. I don't have a crystal ball either. Wind energy, alternative energy may not be a forsuit for something into eternity, but when you look at what's happening globally with that industry, when you look at what's happening and the thought process of what could happen in the Gulf of America, we wouldn't be putting one of these things in Fouchon if everybody thought it was a joke. We wouldn't have, Lafourche Parish-born companies building offshore wind service vessels that are Jones Act compliant to work in waters of the United States if they thought it was a joke, right? We're probably on the second vessel, I think, that the Schwest Corporation builds for this sort of stuff. I don't know Mr. Gary really well, but I'm pretty sure that he's got a better business mind than I do. And if he's going to spend that kind of capital out of his own bank account on a resource, he knows something is coming. Right? So I just want you to think about all of that as you think about that, and just ask for you guys to support it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Melvin, you have a follow-up?
Yes, sir. Just from a business standpoint, granted, we're not talking about grant dollars, we're talking about taxpayer dollars. From a business standpoint, and strictly business, if this is what you want to look at it as, I don't know how this note is supposed to be paid or what's owed on this note to a bank, but I think something's owed. From a business point of view, let that happen, and then why don't we just go to the bank and then get a deal? There's no mortgage on this? Okay, well, my point is, the lease is coming to an end, though. Isn't there some lease coming to an end between Bristow and the owner? Okay, I'd say wait till maybe after that we can revisit it, but for a lot less money.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Araby, follow up.
Mr. President, did we ever get a appraised value on that thing?
16 million. Just on the build fund.
Okay, I was just wondering, because I know when we were dealing with parish government taxpayers' money, and I thought we had to have appraised value on some property before we even looked at spending any money on it. And I never heard of anything or seen anything as far as an appraisal, you know. I'm hearing it for the first time tonight. Thank you.
So for the record, the parish president stated there was a $16 million appraisal. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I think what you have to look at over here, gentlemen, is location, location, location. It's inside the hurricane protection. Nothing says the levee can't break. Okay, you're 25 miles from Port Fourchon. You're 5 miles from the South Lafourche Airport with a new corridor and a new bridge fixing to be built. It's putting back people to work. Of course, we don't want to compete with the port, and there's no such thing as competing with the port on this. It's just an industrial area. And this will benefit the whole parish. Everybody. I'm 72 years old, and I can remember when I was 10. From 60 years, a lot of things were there. They're not there anymore. If that guy that sings that song, Benny Brunch, would come down to buy, it ain't there no more, he'd have a field there. It's going to benefit the whole parish.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for the record, yeah, we did have an appraisal done. We knew we had to do one. Bristow had their own, but we wanted to have one that wasn't geared to them. It was $16 million for the buildings and $5 million for the actual green grass, the property. What's that? Yeah, 21 million. Mitch is doing the math for me behind me. 21 million total. We knew there was an opportunity because the lease was ending. And when you read the actual lease, Bristow either has to completely bulldoze the property and return it to a nice green pretty cow pasture, or they have to give all those topside assets, the buildings, the concrete, the gravel, the fence, to the property owner. The property owner necessarily doesn't have the wherewithal to absorb the taxes and insurance, right, which is going to be somewhere about $500,000 a year. And Bristow didn't want to spend the amount of money that they knew they would have to take to pull up all of that stuff. We did have some very early conversations about waiting another 13 months and letting the lease lapse and dealing only with the landowner, because then they would wholly have everything. I will tell you from those conversations, there was a cost savings. It was not substantial. It was about $1 million, to be perfectly frank and honest. Our conversations back with them were, yeah, we probably could wait the 13 months, but in that 13 months, we could start generating some of that $2.5 million off of leases, right? So it was a trade-off. So when we got down to the $5 million for the property, the $4 million for the $5 million for the buildings, the $4 million for the property, that was a result of about 8 months of negotiations with the property owner and the landowner to talk them down, knowing that what the added costs were going to be to that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any further discussion? There's none. We're going to bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All against say nay. Nays, raise your hand. Motion passes with 7 yeas, 2 nays, those nays being Mr. Araby and Mr. Melvin. Brings us to item, sorry, a lot of talk going on. Missing something?
You were a nay, right?
You were a nay? Okay, I didn't see his hand, so let the record reflect. The motion passes with 6 yeas, 3 nays, those nays being Mr. Araby, Mr. Pierce, and Mr. Melvin. Sorry about that, Terry. I must have missed it. I saw the 2 high hands. All right, brings us to item 5, ordinance. Yes, yes. Motion passed with 6 yeas. 3 nays were Terry, and Bo.
Got it. Now Now I got it.
I was saying it wrong. All right, sorry about it. Item 5, ordinance approving a purchase and sale agreement between Bristow Group Incorporated and Lafourche Parish Government for the building and other improvements located at 18594 Highway 3235, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, Track 1 through Track 4, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration. This was deferred from the 4/22/25, 5/13/25, and the 5/27/25 LPC meetings. No public hearing held. Can I get a second for that? Second by Mr. Adams. On this one, we have an amendment. Amendment to correct the name from Bristow Crossed Out Group Incorporated to Bristow and added US LLC and add Exhibit B within the agreement. Mr. Lorraine for the administration. This was also deferred from the 5/27/25 LPC meeting. Can I get a second to the amendment? Second by Ms. Chesson. All right, would anyone from the public like to comment on the amendment? Only the amendment. Second call, public input on the amendment. Third and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the amendment? Anyone from the council wants to discuss the amendment? Is everyone clear? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All against say nay. Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Now we'll resort back to the original ordinance as amended. If anyone has any questions, I can answer that. Public, anyone from the public would like to comment on the ordinance as amended? Second call, public input on the ordinance as amended. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on this ordinance as amended? Anyone from the council? Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir.
I just have the same beliefs that I had the last time, and that the government has no business in the rental business, period.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Any further discussion? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All against say nay. Nay. Nays, raise your hand. Motion passes with 6 yeas, 3 nays. Those nays being Mr. Araby, Mr. Pierce, and Mr. Melvin. Good? Yes, item 6, ordinance providing for a 2025 supplemental appropriation 25-005 within the 2025 operations and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget to deobligate funding for HMGP parish-wide pump and carryover budget for CDBG projects and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 6? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 6. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 6? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 7, ordinance approving the dededication of a drainage servitude agreement between Philip J. Killian and Sandra B. Killian and the parish of Lafourche and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 7? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 7. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 7? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 8, ordinance approving the dededication of a drainage servitude agreement between Joyce Savoy and the parish of Lafourche and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 8? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 8. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 8? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 9, ordinance approving amendment number 2 to the lease agreement with J-Bond Properties LLC to serve clients affected by the opioid epidemic and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 9? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 9. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 9? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 10, ordinance accepting the Magnolia Street Extension 75-foot constructed during the Acadia Park lot extension intersecting Cypress Street and subdivision formerly known as Wilmer Mathern et al. Into the parish system. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Pierce. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 14? Second call, public input, the ordinance at number 14. 10. I scratched, when I put my logo, thank you, T.A. When I drew through it, I put 10. So anyone from the public wants to comment on this ordinance? Second call, anyone from the public wants to comment on this ordinance? Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 10? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. I now entertain a motion to close public hearing. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Perk. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Do you want to do a 5 minute? Does somebody want to do it? Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Adams for a 10-minute recess, second by Mr. Bromfield. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. We got you, Ms. Chasson. All right, you ready? Oh, Mr. Lorraine.
We already in the green, look at that.
Oh, you give them 30 days to get out.
But yeah, the purpose is just for counterfeit. He never did. He's just on it.
All right, return back to regular agenda on the motion by Mr. Perk and second by Mr. Brumfield. All in favor signify by saying aye. And with that said, item H, proposed ordinance, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Perk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Number 11, proposed ordinance establishing a 20 miles per hour speed limit on Savoy Street, Bayou Blue, Louisiana, Ward 11, District 5, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, requiring the placement of 2 speed limit signs at the beginning of the street and midway coming in the opposite direction and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Councilman Pierce for administration. Number 12, proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 7049 that adopted the 2025 operations and maintenance budget and capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of unclassified employees as provided for by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Councilwoman Chasson for administration. Number 13, proposed ordinance approving a lease agreement between Williams Scotsman Incorporated and Lafourche Parish Government for a mobile office unit to serve the Bayou Blue Head Start location and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Councilman Chasson for administration, and that is it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Perk. That brings us to item I, resolutions. Number 14, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Department of Energy and Natural Resources for the Lafourche Parish Local Coastal Program 2025 to 2028 fiscal years, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 15, resolution approving change order number 3 for the project titled Hurricane Ida Repairs, Deferred Block Building Phase 2 Build Back, increasing the contract price by $9,594.90, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 16, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Ducks Unlimited Incorporated for the Port Fourchon Marsh Terracing Phase 2 NFWF project and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Pierce. Any discussion? Mr. Chasson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say thank you to not only the NIFWIF program, but Ducks Unlimited and ConocoPhillips for items 16 and 17. We're going to do probably close to $5 million worth of restoration work between the grant dollars, our dollars, Ducks Unlimited in-kind services, and ConocoPhillips, not only cash, but their property rights. So I just want to say thank you to them in industry for always being supportive of our coastal projects.
Excellent. Any further discussion? There be none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 17, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Ducks Unlimited Incorporated for the Port Fourchon Terraces Phase 2 NAWCA project, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 18, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the agreement between the Louisiana Workforce Commission, Office of Workforce Development, and Lafourche Parish Council, Office of Community Action for the Community Services Block Grant fiscal year 2025, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Brumfield for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 19, resolution approving an agreement between All South Consulting Engineers, LLC, and Lafourche Parish Government for professional services for the project titled Lake Long Drainage Improvements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Pierce for the administration, second by Ms. Chasson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 20, resolution approving task order number 3 for the project titled Hurricane Ida Project Management Services with ELOS Environmental LLC, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said task order and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 21, resolution accepting the low quote of Chesson's Demolition LLC in the amount of $7,600 for contractor services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 300 Canal Lane, Houma, Louisiana, 70364, assessment number 011084630, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Pierce for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 22, resolution accepting the low quote of Chesson's Demolition LLC in the amount of $2,000 for contractor services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 110 Morristown Street, Racine, Louisiana, 70394. It's a shed. Assessment number 0031018700, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 23, resolution accepting low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $3,890 for contractor services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 110 Morristown Street, Racine, Louisiana, 70394. The house, assessment number 0031018600, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 24, resolution accepting low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $3,900 for contractor services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 123 East 115th. I'm sorry, did I skip something there? For contractor services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 123 East 115th Street, Galliana, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 010228340, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 25, resolution accepting the low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $3,950 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 155 Cypress Drive, Des Allemands, Louisiana, 70030, assessment number 00727571220, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any other relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 26, resolution accepting the low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $5,500 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 173 East 144th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 0102248400, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 27, resolution accepting the low quote of Chesson's Demolition LLC in the amount of $4,200 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 126 East 136th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 0102261200, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any other relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 28, resolution accepting the low quote of Chesson's Demolition LLC in the amount of $7,000 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 19447 East Main Street, Lot 2, Golden Meadow, Louisiana, 70357, assessment number 0102207900, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, mostly the ones that are bidding on this is Chasson and Baudouin or Bolin, whatever. On this one, you got 7,000 for Chasson and Bolin got 14,000. I just thought it was odd to look at 7,000 more and all the others are $1,000 or $1,200. So I went and talked to the department and they said, probably the reason why they did that is because they really didn't want to bid.
Yeah.
I guess they were right.
Some of them are some
But
bigger.
anyway, I just thought it was, I look at the figures
Yeah.
and I just thought they thought they would have had it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope
so-
it's not Orchard. It's not related to Orchard.
I can tell you when it comes to demo, though, those little wooden shotgun houses, that wooden all you can crush versus like brick house, you got a whole lot of brick house. It's a much bigger job for sure. Yep. Okay, any further discussion? Mr. Chesson, you have the floor, sir.
Daniel, they spelled Chesson wrong. They're definitely not related to me.
There's no further discussion. We'll bring this one to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 29, resolution accepting the low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $8,890 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 228 East Lafourche Street, Lockport, Louisiana, 70374, assessment number 0092644625, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? I'll just comment, this house caught fire on me probably better than 10 years ago, if I had to guess, but they keep the yard really nice, immaculate. It's a beautiful brick home, just has a big hole in the top of the roof. So it's long been time to go. But the poor lady did keep the yard up, so normally you don't see that. With that said, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 30, resolution accepting the low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $5,450 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 245 West 5th Street, La Rose, Louisiana, 70373, assessment number 0101624000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 31, resolution accepting the low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $4,890 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 107 Morristown Road, Racine, Louisiana, 70394, assessment number 003-102-1000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any other relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 32, resolution accepting low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $4,900 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 148 East 68th Street, Cutoff, Louisiana, 70345, assessment number 0102370210, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Pierce. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 33, resolution accepting the low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $1,950 for contractor services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 235 Morristown Road, Racine, Louisiana, 70394, assessment number 003-103-4700, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Pierce. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 34, resolution accepting the low quote of Chesson's Demolition LLC in the amount of $6,500 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 228 West 59th Street, Cutoff, Louisiana, 70345, assessment number 0101752300, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 35, resolution accepting the low quote of Chesson's Demolition LLC in the amount of $4,000 for contractor services related to nuisance abatement concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 227 East 85th Street, Cutoff, Louisiana, 70345, assessment number 0102339010, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 36, resolution appointing one member on the Recreation District Number 11 Board. Mr. Pierce for the administration. And who do you have, Mr. Pierce?
We got 2 applicants, 1 vacancy. We're going to appoint Wayne Tabor.
I get a second? Second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 37, resolution reappointing one member on the Fire Protection District Number 8B Board. Mr. Adams for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Adams?
Leroy Cortez.
Mr. Cortez, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 38, resolution appointing one member on the Sewage District Number 1 Board. Mr. Melvin for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Melvin?
Mr. Jeffrey Fontenot.
Mr. Fontenot, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 39, resolution reappointing one member on the Fire Protection District Number 7 Board. Mr. Melvin for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Melvin?
Mr. Jimmy Touloudis.
And a second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Brings us to item J, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, and Managers Reports, Presentations, and or updates. Item 40, Finance Representative to present the monthly financial report as required by the state agreed upon procedures for May of 2025. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Renita had to run out, but you guys were emailed the monthly financial statements, and we can answer any questions on that if you have any.
Which brings us right up to item K, questions for the administration. There being none, we'll go right into item L, discussion. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things. All the demos that you guys just approved were not in most cases, hurricane damage, as was alluded to earlier, and as you alluded to, one was an old fire building. A lot of these are just places people don't take care of, right? So as always, we tear them down with our dollars, and then we add that as a lien on the property and try to recoup it through the tax process the following year. Councilman Adams and I had a conversation before the meeting about no-wake zones. As you guys are aware, the Attorney General a while back issued an opinion that the parish was not allowed to establish no-wake zones, right? It came up, I think, when Councilman Rodrigue was an interim for District 5. There was some legislation that was passed this year by Senator Wheat that actually allows us to do it now. So what I think what we're going to ask for some guidance on is what happens. Do we have to rescind all the ones that we currently have on the books and then redo them all and add any new ones that you guys would want to see, which would mean we have to change ordinance numbers on signs, we have to, and there's some certain stipulations that are actually in the bill. It can only be 300 foot in length from a structure. It can only be a mile in length if it's a long distance around a lot of things. So we're going to have to look at the current no-wake zones and try to figure that out. But I know we've gotten a couple of questions from the Game and Fish Commission about posting some signs that they have been after us to go help them with. But we're going to have to figure that out before we would put those signs up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I got tonight.
Yeah, I would respectfully request that the district attorney's office be engaged about whether that's enforceable or not also, because that's discussions that's been had. With that said, anyone else has any other discussion? Mr. Lorraine, just press your button. You have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I just want to say that you got the Almond Rodeo coming this week. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is going to be at the pavilion at Port Fourchon. And they raise a lot of money and they give a lot of scholarships, them people. And also, the following week, July the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, is the Golden Medal Fourchon Tarpon Rodeo. And the Admiral is Chet Chasson, not related to Archie. And he's the port director. So he will be the Admiral for the July 4th one. So if you want to pass a good time, go ahead, man.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. You finished? Okay, all right. Got it. All right, with that said, it brings us to item of adjournment. On motion by Mr. Araby, second by Mr. Melvin, and with no further business, the Lafourche Parish Council regular meeting of June 24, 2025 will be adjourned at 18:37 hours. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays.